Hey guys, John here. I hope you're all doing well. That 8-string guitar tone was a little bit muddy, right? It was a little bit fuzzy and it was lacking definition. It's because I'm going through an amplifier that's not really suited well for an 8-string guitar and super low tunings, being drop E on this Kiesel Crescent 8. Love this custom 8-string. Check out my full review if you're interested in this guitar, by the way. Anyway, there's something that we can do to remedy that muddiness, to make this guitar sound more clear, tight, percussive, and all that good stuff. More modern, basically. Because I'm running through an amplifier, in this case the Synergy Syn20IR with the direct module, that sounds, big and fat, but does not work really well for low-tuned guitars by default. So in this video I want to try a bunch of boost pedals that I have on my board here. I have 5 boost pedals that we're going to compare and see which one works well for an 8-string guitar tuned to drop E. And we're just going to have some fun here, okay? Now real quick, the signal chain, so the guitar, which is, set to the bridge pickup, the Thorium pickup by Kiesel, it's going into my pedal board. The Zuta The Gate is on right now, which is a really cool gate. I love that gate. That's going into the switcher, and in one of the loops, loop B over here, I have the 5 boost pedals. That is all going into the Synergy Syn20IR with the direct module based on a dual rectifier on the red mode. And that is being fed into my Grossmann Fatbox 1x12, in which I've loaded up a Celestion Vintage 30 mic'd up with 3 mics, 2 SM57s and 1 MD421 Kompakt. That is going into the DAW, and that's what you're hearing. So again, the raw tone that I'm getting here is quite thick and fat, how a rectifier sounds. Sounds really like sludgy and thick. It's not a bad tone, but for modern 8-string metal, people tend to prefer a more tight and articulate tone. And that's what these boost pedals are going to do for us, okay? Now, the boost pedals that I have lined up are Zuta Triax, which kind of is my favorite boost, also has a built-in gate. We have the Pepers Dirty Tree, which is also a very popular boost. It's based on a TC Electronic integrated pre. We have the KHDK Ghoul Jr., this little guy. Then I have the Lichtlaerm Audio The King in Yellow, which is kind of like a modded tube screamer, as this one is as well. And then the classic Maxon OD808. All right. Now, let's engage the loop with the pedals, and let's start with the Maxon OD808 with sort of classic settings. So I have overdrive set to 0, level cranked, which is called balance, and then I'm going to crank tone up to around 3 o'clock. So this is without. And this is with the Maxon OD808. Immediately right there, that's a pretty good tone already. There's a lot of gain. It got a little bit noisier as well. Let's back off the balance, so the level. Let's add in a little bit more bass on the amp. Let's see how that sounds. The classic Maxon OD808 does this pretty darn well, I must say. Let's crank the tone up all the way, which adds a little bit more noise, but let's see how that sounds. Not bad. I think I prefer it with tone set a little bit lower. So around there. Yeah, So the Maxon OD808 definitely pushes the mids of the guitar forward, shaves off some low end, shaves off some top end, and makes the guitar more clear and defined, but it still has a very rich and thick sound. So it's not bad at all. I like this one a lot, actually. Kind of retains the quality of the amplifier to an extent. A lot of times when you add boost pedals to an already high gain amp, you're going to sort of lose some of that character, which is, you know, the thickness of the bottom end and the looseness. In this case, I think it sounds pretty darn good. So that is the classic Maxon OD808. Let's go over to the Triax, the Zuta Triax, which again is kind of my favorite boost. It's a really simple pedal. We have a gate over here, gate threshold, then the boost, which is your level. Let's set that to noon. And then various shades of boost. I'm going to start with the most aggressive setting, which is my favorite setting. The gate is on, so anytime you play, the ring around the switch will turn green, which, you know, indicates that the gate is off at that time. When it's red, the gate is on. Same for Zuta The Gate pedal, so I'm double gating over here. Anyway, take a listen. Boost off. Boost on. That sounds really nice. The fact that it has a built-in gate is a huge plus as well, and I love the simplicity. I can show you what that knob does, the color knob. So again, this is the most aggressive setting. Let's switch to the least aggressive setting, which is the little dot over here. Sounds more tubby and thick. Let's go to the second setting. That's already a little bit more aggressive. Let's go to the third setting. Sounds pretty good, but again, the most aggressive setting with the 4 dots, that is the sweet spot for me with this guitar. Yeah, so that is a wonderful setting for this pedal, with this particular guitar, with this tuning, with this pickup, and with this amplifier, and with this speaker. So of course there are a lot of variables. You know, with another amp, you might prefer another boost, etc. But just to keep that in mind, okay? So that is great. That was the Zuta Triax. Let's go to the KHDK Ghoul Jr., which is, you know, kind of like a souped up tube screamer with some extra switches here and there. Drive is set to 0, volume set to just over 3 o'clock. Tone is set to around 3 o'clock as well. There's a little voice switch, which is set to the bottom setting, as well as a style switch, which is also set to the bottom. I found those settings to work the best, but we can experiment a little bit. Let's turn it on. So it's a little bit more noisy by default than the Triax because there's no built-in gate. So this is without. And with. Pretty good, but the level is a little bit high. So let's lower the level to 1 o'clock, see if that works. Yeah, that sounds really good actually. It's a little bit more noisy than the Maxon, but you're going to have a lot of noise with a high gain tone like this, especially if you're filtering out all that low end and boosting some mids and top end there. Let's crank up the tone control all the way. Let's compare it to the Triax. Back to the Ghoul Screamer Jr. That's great. I do prefer the Triax. It just feels right, you know, but this sounds really good as well. Let's try the voice switch to the top setting. Sounds a little bit more tame. Let's go to the middle setting. Not bad. And again, the bottom setting. Pretty good, pretty good. It's more aggressive, I think. And then the style switch. Let's go to the top setting. Seems like it's leaving a bit more low end in there. Let's go to the middle setting. And again, the bottom setting. Pedal off. Pedal on. Yeah, quite nice, quite nice. So that was the Ghoul Screamer Jr. A very nice and compact little boost pedal with some voicing options that you can use to shape the tone. I am going to go back to tone a little bit lower. All right, so let's check out the Pepers Dirty Tree. There's two settings. It's the DT Dirty Tree setting and then the TC setting. The Dirty Tree setting is kind of like a 1433, so it's really aggressive, made for 8 strings basically. Let's start with that. So this is the pedal off. Then on with the DT setting. That is quite aggressive. If I were to set this amplifier to a little bit more of a subtle setting with more bass, less treble, it will probably sound a bit better. Sounds really genty, right? But let's go back to the previous setting with a bit more treble, a bit less bass. And let's switch to the TC setting, which is basically a setting where you can customize the sound. So we have a low control and a high control and a level control. Level is cranked up right now. I think if we set low and high to around 2 o'clock, it's the most neutral setting. So we're just boosting the level right now. Yeah, I don't recall which setting is exactly neutral. It's not completely neutral. But what we can do is boost the level and then cut some lows. Start with that. Boost a little bit of highs. That is also quite aggressive, but you can tame it a little bit if you want by lowering the highs, raising the lows, for example. For the ultimate tone, let's lower the lows a little bit and raise the highs up a little bit more. That is quite spanky. Let's lower the highs a little bit while leaving the lows cut. And what if we add some lows back in? So all of those little tweaks make a huge difference. So let's do some fine tuning. So that's a different flavor altogether. Pretty nice though. Finally, let's go to the Lichtlaerm Audio, the King in Yellow, which is again a kind of modded tube screamer. Level is set to 230-ish, gain set to off. We're not going to touch the clip and polarity and blend controls. Not going to do that. We're just going to mess with the EQ over here and the level control. This is with it off. Let's turn it on. So just with these settings, you're going to add a bit of mid-range hump, some low cut, add some definition, which already sounds pretty darn nice. But we can add some definition by cutting out some lows over here. Let's start with that and see how that sounds. So a pedal like the King in Yellow is going to emphasize the mids a bit more, just as the Ghoul Screamer Jr. and the Maxon OD808. That's just kind of that tube screamer thing. And these two pedals, especially this one, is going to accentuate the top end a bit more. All right. Now, let's go back and tweak a little bit further by adding some highs, adding a little bit of high mids as well, and see what happens, okay? So, going to cut some more lows, add some highs, and add some high mids. Not a lot. A little goes a long way. That's off, and now on. That is really nice. It's on the noisy side though. So that is a drawback of this pedal right now in this rig in comparison to some of the others. So those are the 5 pedals. We can do a quick comparison. So let's start on the right here. Zuta Triax first, pedal off quickly. Okay, let's turn it on. Really wonderful and balanced sound, not too extreme, but really does the job in making the sound more tight. Let's go to the Ghoul Screamer Jr. Really nice, similar to the last one, but just has a different like upper mid response. Like it a lot. Let's go to the Dirty Tree by Pepers. Really nice as well. Has a different feel because it pushes the mids forward less. You know, it just cleans up the low end to the extent that you want by tweaking it and boosts the top end if you want. So it adds a lot of clarity and string definition, all right, to your tone. Let's do the King in Yellow. Yeah, really wonderful. How this makes the tone really barky and aggressive with also that mid-range tube screamer-esque hump. The 4-band EQ makes it really versatile in terms of tweaking the exact tightness and barkiness that you need. So that is cool. It's too bad that it's a little bit more noisy than the others though, but I really recommend using a noise gate after the amp, which I'll probably do in post for this video anyway. And finally, the Maxon OD808. That's definitely the most tame sounding one. Let's crank the tone up once again. Let's do one very quick comparison with the pedal off versus each one on. Yeah, so this was fun and interesting. Each pedal has its own flavor. Some of them are more tweakable. In this case, only Triax has the gate, which is a huge plus. I like the simplicity of this one. I like how it sounds. I think this is probably my favorite. I think this one sounds really nice as well, the King in Yellow. It's really tweakable. Aside the fact that it's a little bit more noisy. Of course, it really helps that this one has the gate in terms of that noise, if you know what I mean. I like the Dirty Tree a lot as well. Maybe not so much for this guitar and this amplifier. The Ghoul Screamer Jr. is very cool as well. It's very compact, sounds quite aggressive for a little pedal like that, and I like the additional switches. And the Maxon is a classic. It's just the least drastic of all. So maybe it's not the best pedal for this guitar with this amplifier. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Which one was your favorite pedal and why? Which one would you put on your board? Let me know. Also, be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below, as that really helps the channel out. I'd really appreciate it. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And also be sure to check out my website for digital products. And if you want to support this channel, you can buy something at my affiliate links for Thomann and Sweetwater. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching and hope to see you soon. Cheers.